Please don't forget subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to get notified of new daily videos.
When I arrived in Blackwood Point, the air tasted of salt and secrets. My great-aunt's house, perched precariously on a cliff overlooking the churning gray ocean, was a monument to quiet decay. Faded Victorian lace, moth-eaten velvet, and tapestries depicting bizarre, intricate patterns filled every room. It was supposed to be my fresh start after everything else had gone sideways. Cameron, a distant cousin of my aunt's I'd only met at her funeral, helped me move in. He was a lanky man with eyes that seemed to hold too much history. "Your aunt," he'd said, gesturing vaguely at a particularly unsettling tapestry depicting a forest interwoven with what looked like human veins. She had a unique way of seeing the world. A gift, some might call it. I just nodded, figuring it was polite euphemism for eccentricity. Life settled into a lonely rhythm. I'd sketch the rugged coastline, try to ignore the house's creaks and groans, and occasionally feel a strange twitch in my hands. It started innocently enough. A framed photo, slightly askew, a loose floorboard. I'd always been a bit of a perfectionist, so I'd straighten, nail down, adjust. But then came the buzzing. A low thrum that began in my fingertips, spreading up my arms, a physical itch that only subsided when I corrected whatever minor imperfection had caught my eye. One evening, as twilight bled into night, I sat sketching the lighthouse beam cutting across the waves. The beam, usually a steady sweep, was flickering, an imperfection. The buzzing started, a frantic, insistent throb. I felt an undeniable pull, a yearning to steady it. I focused, my hands trembling with the internal pressure, and watched as the distant light flickered, then held, then shone steadily. I gasped, convinced it was a trick of the eye, a bizarre coincidence fueled by my tired mind. That night I heard a scratch at the door. It was Matthias, the local historian, a gaunt man with a reputation for knowing too much. He left a small, ornately carved weaving shuttle on my porch. "For the new weaver," he'd rasped, his eyes too knowing, before disappearing into the gloom. The corrections escalated quickly. The buzzing became a constant companion, a dull ache in my gut when ignored. I started seeing invisible threads connecting everything: the trajectory of a fallen leaf, the path of a delivery truck, the nuanced expressions on people's faces. If a thread felt out of place, frayed, or misaligned, the pain intensified, driving me to act. My initial attempts were still small. A neighbor's struggling garden inexplicably burst into unnatural bloom overnight, its plants grotesquely oversized. A local busybody suddenly had an irresistible urge to confess her most scandalous secret at the town council meeting. The consequences were devastating, but the buzzing subsided, replaced by a momentary, unsettling calm. Cameron returned a week later, his eyes softer, almost approving. He spoke of my great-aunt's legacy, of the loom that binds all things, and how certain individuals are chosen to mend the pattern. He described it as a sacred duty, a vital role in maintaining cosmic balance. His words resonated with a strange, chilling familiarity. I found my aunt's old journal tucked away in her loom cabinet, filled with cryptic entries about the threads, the great mend, and a specific window in the house that showed true patterns during the darkest hours. My conscience was a battlefield. I'd corrected a young couple's escalating arguments, intending to bring them peace, only to witness them erupt in a violent public breakup that left one hospitalized. The guilt was a physical weight, crushing me. I confronted Cameron, but he merely smiled, a placid, unwavering expression. "Necessary for the pattern, Kylie," he'd said. "The loom knows best." I couldn't accept it. I had to know the truth. That night I waited. The journal stated the window showed the true patterns between midnight and 2 a.m., when the loom's influence was strongest. As the clock struck 12, I stood before the tall, arched window in my aunt's study, the one always draped in heavy velvet. I tore the curtains back, the glass reflecting only the storm-tossed ocean and my own terrified face. I concentrated not to mend, but to see. The world outside shifted. The moonlight bled into an ethereal, shimmering web of light, an intricate network of glowing threads connecting every house, every tree, every living thing. It was breathtaking, but utterly terrifying. I saw distorted figures like grotesque spiders clinging to the threads, pulling, weaving, manipulating. Then I looked at my reflection in the glass again, but this time I saw through myself. Shimmering, translucent threads of light, the same glowing network I saw outside, were slowly integrating into my flesh, emanating from my stomach, spreading through my veins. The buzzing in my hands wasn't just a compulsion. It was the entity weaving itself into me, slowly consuming my own being. The vision snapped shut, leaving me gasping, drenched in cold sweat. I staggered back, the reality of it a physical blow. The gift wasn't a connection to the loom, I was becoming the loom. My aunt hadn't been a mender, she had been a puppet, consumed by the same parasitic entity. Now the constant buzzing is a searing ache, threatening to rip me apart if I resist. Cameron's visits are more frequent, his eyes now holding a knowing, unsettling satisfaction, like a spider surveying its new web. I can feel the threads growing inside me, especially around my stomach, a knot of internal dread waiting for the right moment to fully emerge and take over. I'm trapped, my body becoming the next weaver, forever condemned to mend and unravel lives at the loom's silent command. Sometimes I hear its whispers, guiding my thoughts, subtly twisting my desires. I try to fight it, but the constant pain is exhausting. I'm afraid to fall asleep. My aunt's journal lies open on my desk, a small scratch marring its ancient cover. My hand twitches involuntarily. I'm not sure how much of me is left. I just wanted to get this out before I'm completely gone. Before the loom decides I'm perfectly aligned, perfectly silent.
If you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up button to like it. And please do subscribe to support the channel.